Hello there, my name is Rachel. The first time I see my channel, I used to review cartoon series and anime series. So what's up, being Computer Random, and today we talk about season 1 of It's a Pony. It's one of those series, the very beginning, nobody really sure how good this should really be, because the first episode was very interesting in sort of the advices of some critics. I mean, some animated critics, at least on YouTube, wasn't sure it wasn't any good at all because was how it was executed of the first episode. But to be fair, the first episode really doesn't say much about the show. It takes many episodes to understand what the series tries to do. Because after I watched a couple more episodes of this season, I realized what the show trying to do. It's basically a sort of reverse the genre kind of deal. You know, that kind of a boy and his dog, but just change that dog to could be a talking animal or an alien or a magic being or whatever. It's a sort of genre. But the thing is, this series attempted to reverse it at the very beginning. The first thing actually is instead of being using a boy, it's a girl. To be truthful, I never remember any other animated show they trying to change that at all. Usually, it's always a boy. The only time whoever want to change it uses in anime. The only one closest to it is probably the magical girl genre, because you could compare like Sailor Moon and her magic cat who talks. It's probably the closest thing I can think of, or Kiki Delivery Service. But once more, that's only super rare, but only in anime. In cartoons, not really. That's super unbelievably rare. You can barely see this because you could go back in the 80s, 90s, or 2000s, or the 2010s. You actually think about it, it never happened before. That sort of surprised me. But I love it more is that they don't use her as being the girl, or use it like, oh, she's a girl, so she'd be everything feminine, should be pink, should be super sweet or something. Like, no, they don't treat her like that. They treat her as a normal child. She has a little fun with the pony. Her adventures is especially in the city, in that state. They don't do anything else, and that is pretty amazing, because usually they have to make it girly for some reason. I don't know why. It's sort of the stigma of that, because I've seen a lot of cartoons, they always fall to that hole. But besides that, it's kind of amazing. The second thing is amazing is Pony himself, because usually that type of genre, Pony usually is the walking talking animal slash alien slash magical being who talks, and no one really winks an eye on it. Like, so what? It's nothing that new. But Pony, how the show delivers him, is basically the pet. They don't use the word pet or this wild animal, but how the story narrative is sort of presented on you each episode, he is the pet, because how the show say Anne is the only one who can take care of him, the Anne who understands him, the Anne who will listen to Pony, and that's how the sort of the stigma of the story delivers each single episode. That's why I found that sort of interesting, because they use it almost like a double meaning, because Pony is a pet. They don't point it out, but they kind of show it, and that is kind of like cool. I mean, usually they never do that. It's rare to do that. They usually, oh yeah, just a walking talking animal, nobody cares. But at the same time, make it a little bit more unique, at least a tad more. Is no other animal talks just except for Pony. But to be fair, that's a normal, that type of genre. Nobody cares because he's the only talks. Usually it's a rare wild animal who talks and very extinct. You know the routine. But I love it is he's so different. Besides being the pet, I mean, to point out the pet is the fact he's not a narcissist. Usually the wild card of the straight man and wild card combination, Pony usually had to be the narcissist, the person who thinks too much, who think he's the old dad and bag of cheese. No, he is just a nice, calm, a little bit troublesome type of character, because he's sort of the wild card, the character who does things, doesn't know why he does it, kind of type of character, because that is sort of kind of refreshing, because he does not need to take the show, he doesn't need to push the storyline to become something else. So I'm glad they went this direction. On top of that, you could say because he's sort of the wild card, because he is an animal, because he doesn't understand human sort of logic or concept, sort of words. So yeah, in fact, you could describe him more specifically sort of a Sheldon type of character, that he really doesn't know how to control himself. He knows he is basically self-aware, that he is very hard to control, hard to communicate, and he has this sort of stigma around the city. Yeah, watch out for Pony. He could destroy everything around you. Yeah, that's another thing I really enjoy because this series do focus on their sort of kind of legendary infamy of the city because every time they talk to someone or they have a project to do and trying to do something, and oh, you go bring Pony. I mean, you don't have to bring him. I mean, you have to stay away. I can do this. I don't need your help. It's okay, cool. And then you feel that sort of stigma in how Anne and Pony trying to go beyond that, trying to convince, no, we're not terrible, especially Pony. Pony is a nice guy. But once more, every time Pony does something, he kind of does destroy it. So I love about that. They focus on that the most. But I love it also Anne is sort of reverse the trope also because she's supposed to be the straight man, the person who's honest, the person who's the compass of the group. But no, she also could be greedy. She also could be selfish. She also could overthink things and destroy the things before Pony does. And that is also refreshing. Of course, there's something that takes a long time to beat that character. Take about season 2 or season 3. No, they really done that at the very beginning. So I like about that. That feels refreshing. On top of all this, and make it twice as interesting, her aunt's family are farmers, or sort of modern farmers, because that is kind of rare. I mean, really rare. The only time I've seen this, and usually are side characters, or new Disney Channel show called Big City Green. They're also farmers, but at the end, they're more kind of like fish on the water sellers. They used to be farmers, now live in a big city kind of deal. And it's the Pony reverse that there are farmers, but sort of modern versions of the ones because they sell the stuff or the vegetables in the flea market. And they do use that as a storyline a couple of times in the season. So yeah, they use that idea a bit more than Big City Green. Besides, Big City Green, I feel they only use it twice after 2 seasons. Yeah, they use it very rare. It's a Pony use it most they can every time have the chance. So that's something is refreshing also. Yeah, on top of all this, the comedy is very different. The comedy feels refreshing because if you've been in Nickelodeon and watch all the anime series, usually they follow of the sort of random or chillax kind of comedy. This one doesn't focus on. This one sort of give you sort of shock comedy. You don't mean like Family Guy shock comedy. No, no, no. They use a sort of a setup that you seen before, like say a chasing and using balloons so that chasing this wacky kind of adventure. You expect this sort of danger, kind of hilarious kind of deal. No, they reverse it. Become a sort of me doing it a sort of chasing but with balloons and balloons are very slow, so you sort of awkward. Yeah, you're just like, yeah, this is sort of the thing. Like, yeah, just let's go with it now. Feeling that I kind of enjoy because they always sort of surprise you because this show does surprise me constantly because there are times I couldn't stop laughing. I wasn't expecting the kind of feeling. And that's why I sort of enjoy, especially how the animation and the music, the background music complement everything because it's something that it feels so wholesome and relaxed and it does something unexpected and gets you. And that's why I kind of love this series because it did everything so different. So it really different things. Like they never rely on like and move the story or Pony push the story. Sometimes it's just something introduce them to something so they have to do. They rely on many different things to make it work. They don't stick with a formula, and that is so good. It's so refreshing. That's why I just love this show. It's so enjoyable. I don't know. Tell me down below, what do you think? You have the same feeling of this show? You feel this show is super different besides Nickelodeon? Because you know Nickelodeon is a stickler doing the same thing over and over again. And this one really tried to do something different. And that's the most surprising thing. It is different. That's why I enjoy it. Now, I got nothing else to say. Just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.